So hello everyone, hope you're all doing fine. Today we are going to do third pass validation, still using JOSM. So the objectives for today, I would like us to learn on how to understand issues created using the tasking manager boundary. And then I would like us to learn how to deal with the JOSM setup for third pass validation, and then learn how to conduct third pass validation on the hot tasking manager. So third pass validation, so it's just basically downloading. You can either download the different grids or small tasks, or even the entire boundary. As you can see, realize most of the tasks that we are doing have been like gone through maybe let me say we've only created projects where buildings are existing. Yeah, so maybe we've used settlement data to create projects, as you can see here. So the segmentations, these are some of the different segmentations that we shall be looking at, especially the road segmentations. And then how to download data. I'm going to illustrate this from the hot tasking manager, but this is how it is. You have to make sure your expert mode is activated, just when you'll be able to download either the grid, you download the area of interest or the grid data, depending on what you prefer. And then you have to scroll down, like you can see here, where you'll be able to see you'll be able to download the data. So for us, in the past, we used to use mainly the area of interest, but these days we have a better way of doing it, where we just download different grids. Here, you see as I illustrate. So there are two ways. You just hold and drag, or you can add it. You can hold and drag the GeoJSON into JOSM, and then you can use the download continuous plugin, as you can see here on the slides. And then there's also downloading along, which I will show. So there are two ways. You can download bit by bit, or you can just highlight and download everything at once. So how to get started? Remember, it's normal validation, yeah? But this time we are doing validation in a whole area of interest, or in the whole, like all the tasks at once. So we have to make sure our filters are checked, because we're going to download a lot of data depending on the different features in the task. We mainly need the buildings, or the highway or waterway, land use, natural. You can be specific if you want to, like going into detail. I want to check all the residentials. Are they really well tagged? Are they properly tagged? Stuff like that. So you can also look into that. And then we also need our filter, rather, map paint styles. So map paint styles are going to really help us to easily catch those errors as early as you download that data, which is very good, as you have been using it in the past. And then similarly, it's a similar data quality check as you do as normal. It's just normal check. So you start checking one by one as a whole. Okay, so let's go down to the real demo. Okay. So meanwhile, let me be opening my JOSM and escape. I am going to directly, just a minute. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, no questions. So I'm basically using this tracker. I am going to randomly select any of these tasks. This one, so I'll just click on it. Let me close this. Okay. So as it loads, do you have any questions? Looks like we're all good. Just go ahead.
Completed task.
Yes, so you get a completed task. So I think I clicked on this one. So you do third-pass validation on a project that has already been validated. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down here, and I told you there are two ways of downloading this data. And in the past we used to download this, but these days we download the grids, because there's a tool that can easily help with downloading along. Yes, so I'm going to do both, and then you'll see what happens. So just long hold it after it has downloaded. My Josem is still loading. And it's still loading. Okay, I think it's now up. So I'm just going to drag it, and I drop it there. Okay. Okay. So in the past, we used to just zoom in a small bit, and then you keep downloading in bits until the end. So I'm just going to show you the first.
Oh, Becky, we can only see your tasking manager screen.
Okay. Let me fix that. So actually, before I leave this place, you will not be able to see these to actually download if you haven't activated your expert mode. So what you do, you come to your profile here, settings, and then you come and make sure your expert mode here is activated. Yeah. Once it is activated, you'll be able to see these ones down. Okay. All right. So I'm sure you're able to see my screen. So in the past, we used to just download like bits by bits. I download it as a new layer. So we would do this like throughout until all these are done. Yeah. But there's a better way to do that. Currently you just zoom in and get your line tool, and then you approximately measure you measure the task. So when you look down here, you'll see it's about 163 meters. So this will help me to use it later. So I'm just going to highlight and select everything here. Okay. And then I'll come to my my profile, rather files, then I'll come and say download along. Why is it freezing? I'm not sure why it's freezing. Everything is frozen. Okay, let's see. Download along, and then you remember I measured the meters. It was about 1 something, so I can just adjust here. I can make it 2. Then I can leave the kilometers as they are. So this is like the length, how can I say, the length of the square and then the kilometers, like the distance. After 20 kilometers, it's going to keep downloading and downloading and downloading, as you'll see. So I'm going to download it as a new layer, and it's going to get for me 27 individuals. It's going to download this area. It's going to download this area 27 times, yeah? So you can adjust the meters until you get like fewer individuals, but I'll go with this. So what's going to happen is that it's going to download for me as I wait for it to complete, rather than me downloading bit by bit for myself. So this is what is going to happen. So Fight has downloaded 3 individuals. Sometimes it takes a bit of time, but let's see how this one goes. As you can see, it's downloading the spaces. Another thing you have to know is that it may download a bit far from your from your area of interest. So no worries about that. It happens sometimes. Like here, I see it has downloaded some data right here. And before even I zoom in, I can already see some issues here. Is anyone having challenges with the expert mode? Are you able to download the area of interest, the grids specifically? So you see, most for those tasks that have like complete boundaries, how can I say, like they don't have tasks like this. So when you download grids, it's going to download for you particularly the tasks. When you download the boundary, it's going to download for you only the area boundary. So it has at least downloaded for me everything, as you can see. So another thing, just pan through the map and make sure it has downloaded for you everything. If it hasn't, you go ahead and download it, yeah? Just add it to the layer. So for me, I am lucky that it has downloaded for me everything. That's why it's good to measure. So usually the meters is, it can be either half or 3/4, if I may say. So I have downloaded everything. As usual, we are going to make sure, it's too much data. It's a lot of data and I cannot clean all this data at once. So you have to check the imagery that they use. I'm sure it was Maxa. So I'll put in my imagery. After adding my imagery, I can now start doing the cleaning. Remember, we have to have our map paint styles, which are already on. We can always see it flagging some stuff here. And then make sure you have the different filters that you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going now to start the validation. I'm going to start with checking all the buildings at once. So I will close here, and just look for my filter of buildings equals all. So I'm choosing building equals all because I want it to select for me anything that is a building, yeah? So I'll just come starting here in the corners and just zooming in and checking. So another advice I give you, you cannot, actually, I think it cannot permit you like to select everything in this square, in this in the grids, and like you square them at once, yeah? And it's also not advisable to do that because there are some like buildings that are not supposed to be squared, and some may like, remember, the circular buildings may have less nodes, and you don't need, if you square everything at once, you may end up damaging the features. So one advice I give you in this case is just like to look through an area. So for instance, this was the middle part, which is okay. You can just go ahead and clean it after it's still there. If you want to square this area, just highlight this, then you unsquare the things and you press Q to square only this area. So you square bit by bit to avoid that, unless your project, the one you're working on, is really small and you can square the things. Yeah. So I'm going to start by, I can just start in this corner. Yeah? Just looking through, this has let's see, tags and membership. It has intake, okay, and it has something attached to it. So this looks like it's a building. And then, okay, let's find the history and just double check, okay, when it was worked on. All right, it was Maxa. This is the person that modified it, used Maxa, used Mapillary. Okay, this looks like it's local knowledge. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove my filter and I just get to know what it is attached to, so that I can have a bigger picture on how to handle this. I'm looking for, yeah, make sure all, just a reminder, make sure your inline validation is checked. Your inline, your missing maps is checked, and the default, if you have it, or any other filters that you use to do validation that helps you in case you have different from mine. So mine I already checked. So I was looking for the filter to just remove the buildings filter so that I can see what it is attached to. Yeah, it is attached to a waterway, a canal. Okay, this is not right, so I'm just going to unglue it. What's this? What's this? Okay, so I'm just going to delete this one. Maybe I'll leave this merged, and then I will just, it has so much information. I'm not sure if it is, see, I don't know, I think it's a misalignment or something. Anyway, since I'm not sure of it, I'm just going to move it away from my this, and then I will just adjust it. I want to square it, and I just make it look like the way it appears here. Okay, so I'm going to return back the filter, and I'm going to come this side. I will check, are these really buildings? Maybe not, maybe they are. So I just move them here where I think they are more they look more like buildings, and I will square that. Okay, so this is like a rock, right? Let's see with another imagery. Wow. You guys, would you map this as a building? It looks like Bing looks the same. Let me try with Max. Rather Esri. Okay. Let me delete that. I delete the Bing. Let me check the history. Let me see who mapped it. They actually use Rapid ID editor. Okay, let's see. The person started mapping of recent. They're a new mapper. and they used rapid ID. Someone wrote something. Someone says it's not a building. Okay. I also think so. So let's see how we can modify this. Maybe we put it somewhere where there's a building instead of deleting it. Okay, so I'm just looking through here. Another way you can do it, if you feel like this is a huge space, you can download bit by bit. Yeah, you can say me, I'm going to just come and download as a new layer. I'll show you before I change. Then you clean that area, you keep extending until you reach the end. Yeah, that's another way. So I'm looking for, I unglue this, I just adjust it. Remember, you have to square before you use the extrude tool. Okay, let's adjust it a bit. This is not well mapped. So I guess you're getting the picture, right? So after I fix this, I'm just looking for where I can put the other, instead of deleting it. I think this could be a building, so I'm going to just, where was it? This one. It's just building equals yes, so I'm just going to move it. You know, I don't like to delete. I like to delete when it's like the last resort. Like if if I'd selected that task, I would delete it, but alone, I would delete it. So I'm going to split this into several tasks. Okay. Let's delete these extra nodes. All right. So where was it? This one. Maybe it's a building. It's most likely a building here. Small one. Okay. So I'm going to also adjust this one, and I look for where to put it. These don't look like they are. These white flashes, I don't think they are really buildings. Maybe this, I can add it here. These are most likely two. So I'll bring mine here. Okay. Okay. So just delete the extra node and adjust it. So I am done with this area. I'm going to this side. So since I already have this middle part downloaded, I can just clean it as well. So I've just highlighted everything and I've squared. Press Q to square to make my work easier, and I'm going to keep ungluing. Remember, we are always encouraged to map buildings separately. As you can see, it can easily overlap. Okay. Unless the project manager wants you to map them, to map the ones that are sharing corners, to map them sharing corners. Otherwise, we are always encouraged to map buildings separately. So I'm just going to clean this area only. Then I'll show you when you're uploading the message that you put. And then I'll go to another feature until the end, and then we shall end the session. Because, and another thing is third pass validation takes time. And and you may not be able to, unless you're a fast validator or your data is clean, very clean. You can take a few, maybe an hour or two, but most cases it takes time. You can even do third pass. You get tired, you do other things, you come back and continue. Yeah. So, and then if you're not confident, if you feel like it's too much work for you, It's okay, it's optional to do third pass for you, but for those that are interested and would like to try out third pass validation, I will encourage you. Just let me know and I assign you a project. Yeah, otherwise it's going to be optional. Okay, so I'm just making sure these can even looks like they are one, so just join them. Okay, deleting the extra nodes, just making sure that these are separate. It's okay for buildings to share corners, but we are always encouraged to map them separately. So this may be even just one as an extension, so I'm joining them. And please don't forget to what? To remove the extra nodes. So when they are doing population counts, the tool that they are using, usually it's good to have like buildings as they appear on the ground. This I don't map these usually as buildings, so I don't encourage people to map them. So what I want to do, and then when you're doing third pass, just as you do validation, make sure you correct whatever you're sure with. The one you're not sure with, you leave it. Yeah. Do you have a question? Okay. No one is asking. Looks like we're all good. So, all right. Okay, so you do that. You have to clean, look through the building. It looks like the people that worked in this area did a great job, because you see this middle part is not necessarily in this project. You can see it was probably in another project. Usually, like if a place is very crowded and we are creating projects for beginners, we tend to avoid giving them the projects to work on. So we do like remote areas. That's why you see you can find you've worked on a building, but the middle part is very crowded, but was not included in the project. So I think this was the case as well. And as you can see, the people that worked on this project in these specific areas did a great job. So go ahead and unglue, press Q, and yeah, this is not squared. See, you can do validation, but still the project can still have other data quality issues. That's why we go ahead and do like the third check, which is called the third pass. And yeah, so you're going to do that. If you're doing a third pass, you're going to clean all the buildings, check all the buildings, and make sure they are well aligned, well squared, and they are not overlapping anything, and they are mapped separately. So after doing that, I like usually to do my upload, and you write in the message. By this time, you can just say added, and modified buildings, and then you can say third pass validation. Don't forget our hashtag validation, and then you can put the validation number. For this one is 13115. Then you can go ahead and put the data quality hashtag. Please don't forget, it's going to really help us. And then you go ahead and multiply. So someone will see I modified like over 1,000, over 2,000 stuff. They will not fear, because I just told them I have modified. You can even go ahead and say by squaring, like exactly what you did. Squaring and yeah, stuff that you did. So I'll go ahead and upload. I'll make sure the imagery is checked, and I will upload. Do you have any questions on that? Okay. So another thing, after, like, for instance, if I'm now done checking my buildings, all my buildings are okay, I'll change my filter to highways or roads. Yeah. So I'll go look for my roads, and then I will make sure everything is well connected. Sometimes it's a buildings project, but we have to make sure everything is connected, well connected, not hanging and stuff like that. So as you can remember, Shift Control E will help us select buildings to check connectivity. Yeah. And anything that's not connected to this one is not going to be highlighted. As you can see, this is not highlighted, this is hanging. So what I can do here is I get this, I make sure it's connected. Okay. It should be connecting from here. So I make sure that is connected, and I'm assuming this is connected here. Maybe let me download a bit so I don't have to worry about this one particularly. And then let's see here, Shift Control E. All right, looks like everything here is okay. It's well connected and the roads are okay. Maybe another thing, you can also check the tags, but let's first check for the connectivity. Okay, let's do this. Control E. Okay, these ones are not connected. So they're saying this is a tertiary road. Remember, tertiaries connect big towns to big towns. So would you tag this as a tertiary? I think no. And here we have like another road that's supposed to be connecting to this other one. So I think I would change this tag. There's a big town here actually. Could be a tertiary, and there are towns here anyway. I think let me first remove the filter, and then we need to create like this looks like, I'm not sure now what to put here. Vegetation has covered. Probably there is a bridge because a tertiary road is a big road. So I'm going to combine, but it's going to give me a conflict. It wants me to choose between unclassified and tertiary. I think I'll go ahead with the tertiary and I will okay it. But I need to create a bridge because it can't be, it's either supposed to be a ford or a bridge. I cannot see a tunnel or something. Anyway, so I'm on a bridge. Yes. And I will not forget the layer, which is 1. Okay. Hey, it's actually tertiary. See that it's connecting? Okay. It's connecting this big town to this other town. Anyway, so I'm putting back my filter because I'm still checking roads. I think this is not a tertiary. This one is. I want to change it to unclassified. Tertiary roads are usually long. So this is also residential. It's going through here. Okay, so connectivity still. Shift Control E. All right, I think these ones are okay here. See, these are also half roads. I just need to combine these and press C to combine them, and it has a layer of -1. See, it's another issue that you can just, it has a tunnel passage. Why does it have that? We first leave it. When you run our validator 2, we shall see the error. Okay, so this is, yes, I would agree this is our a track. So let's see, Control E. The connectivity still is okay. So after that, I'm going to natural, maybe waterway or looking for the tag. Okay, same with waterway. Only check them the same way you check for the roads. This is not connecting. Why isn't it selecting it? It's connecting. Okay, let's see. Okay, now it has connected. I was wondering why it's not selecting it. So the waterways seem to be perfectly connected. You can go ahead and also check the flow of the water. Remember, water flows downhill, sorry. So open cycle map is good to help us check. So this is 2. These are all the same figures. Okay, 3. All right, 2. Check this side. 1. 1, 1. Let's see up here. Yeah, the flow seems to be okay. As you can see here, it's going down. So the flow is fine. The connectivity is okay. And then I'm just checking. It looks like we don't have any natural equals or like water. Let's see. Okay, we have. Okay, so we have these ones you can clarify with the taggings. These ones have relations, as you can see, line relations. Okay, so it looks like now we have checked everything. After checking everything, our validator tool is like the last check we use. So I'm going to run the validator tool. Someone is saying, I have downloaded the area of interest, but my download along has failed. Okay, let's see. So just the way we check for errors, one advice I can give you, just fix as much as you can. Okay, fix as much as you can. Do not fix what you're not sure of. You leave it, or you ask for someone. If they find out how to fix it, you go ahead and fix. Okay, so first of all, look out for overlapping stuff like this. You go and fix all of these. You go and fix all those. Then you come to missing tags. Let's see, some of these, they are like, you have to have local knowledge, so you ignore that. Unnamed ways, same thing, you ignore. Then this unnecessary tag of area, these ones you definitely have to fix those. So some people add like extra tags of area on building equals just this. So you just go ahead and delete. Where is it? Actually, you can just select this and then you come and delete for everyone. I think this is already, see, it was only one and it's fixed. Then area, away terminating an area, you can also fix this. This is like, you either like unglue it and then you like move it away like that. And yeah, basically that is it. So I'm not sure, Derek, have you activated your expert mode?
Yes, but for that one, it worked. But while downloading some data, some error occurred. The message came, errors during download. The following errors occurred during mass download, and
Happened.
it stopped downloading.
Yeah, so for that case, you may need to just continue downloading in bits. So sometimes when you're downloading from OSM and you're downloading big chunks, of data, sometimes it gives you such kinds of errors because OSM downloads like small bits. So when it comes to an area that is very crowded, sometimes it sees it as a big request. So it brings such errors, but that is very okay and very normal to to get it. So the other bit I wanted to show you is let me just delete this, and then we go back here. So sometimes you can find that you are overwhelmed by that a lot of data and you really want to do third pass. So what you can do is you can say, I want to start maybe with, let me start with this area. Let me only fix the data in this. Let me use the smaller area. Let me start from this side going up. So you just come and zoom into that area, and then you say download, and you download it as a new layer. Yeah. So you realize that now you only have this area to clean. It's big. It has several number of tasks, but yeah, it's easier. So here you can select your buildings. How can I say? You can filter out your buildings. You can actually select everything. Just span through and make sure you are squaring the right stuff. You square at once, and then you check. After that, you upload, do the buildings check, rather the roads check, do the highway checks, do every check you're supposed to do as a validator, and then you go ahead and download the other area, but you add it to the other layer, not the same, not as a new layer. So you continue. So you keep cleaning until you reach the end. Yeah, especially when the data is not very clean, and then when you feel like downloading everything at once will give you a hard time. So yeah, that is it. Do you have any other questions? Okay. Do you have questions, guys?
Thank you, Becky. I thank you for this interesting section. To me, it's actually really, really interesting because I can see so many things I can actually do with this, and it's actually great. My question is, when you're doing third pass validation, and let's say probably, these are many tasks. And let's say tax 134, the person that mapped it to use Magza, and then the person did an offset. And then in tax 567, the person used Magza, but he did not. Let me just use that as example. And then when you bring these things, you are having differences in the building print matching with the satellite imagery. So how are you going to solve such kind of problem? And secondly, thank you, because I just realized that validation is not just really the end of this. So there is still more about to making sure you have quality data. And this aspect of after validation, because I actually downloaded a particular task and I'm just looking at it now. And I see the tasks that have been validated by someone still have multiple buildings to map. What are you going to do? Are you going to start adding them, or is there any other way you can still return the task back to the people that mapped it to fix such area? Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm going to start with the last question. So for that, it really depends. If someone marked, like, let me say, almost a half of the task as complete, and there are like so many buildings, I think that it is better they return it to the mapping stage. Otherwise, when you're doing third pass validation, just as you're doing mapping, rather validation, when you find any unmapped buildings, just go ahead and map them. Usually there are not many, as you can see in this project that I downloaded. Usually there are not many. There are just those few scenarios where we have people who just come and mark buildings as complete when they are not complete. So such cases will be very, very, very rare. Unless that project was for roads, mainly for roads, and people mapped the roads and they ignored the buildings. Yeah. So in that case, that area will still be mapping projects will still be created in that area, particularly for the buildings that were not included during the first project. So the next one, that is a very, very big challenge with people. Actually, sometimes you find that someone has used different imageries in different areas. There are offsets. They are like those offsets. Someone has used different offsets in different areas. So how usually we encourage to deal with that? If you find like a big chunk, like for instance, let me use this one. Let me just highlight them. Okay, let me add Bing. Hopefully it is different. So if you find a big chunk of an area, this side it matches. If you find a big chunk of an area, the project is saying Maxa imagery, and you find like a big, huge chunk of an area where they use Bing imagery, in that case, you validate that specific area using Bing imagery. Because if you don't, that means you'll have to like do a whole maybe reorganize everything at once. Yeah. So what you do, you map that particular area using the imagery that they use to map it. Yeah. Unless it's like a small square, like someone, if it's like a few buildings, those ones you can keep aligning them. So that's how you deal with that. Yeah. Then if you find like there's like different offsets are used on different areas, again, you maintain that same offset on that area as the other mapper. Or for you, what you do, you offset it to your imagery. Remember, when you're doing offset, you're only doing it, you're moving the imagery just for you. It's not affecting anyone else. You offset it to your imagery, map whatever is not mapped, whatever has not been mapped, and you upload, and then you leave their buildings as they are. So I hope I've answered your question somehow. But you are very right. We get lots of challenges like that. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Awesome. Any other questions? So as we wait for questions, this is another way you can do third pass validation. And the other way, when I meant by downloading, let's see if I can get it. Let's look for Asia. This one, let's see, because for them, most cases, Guatemala, we were using either grid 3 data or map swipe to get the to only get tasks, or only get tasks that are where settlements are. So I want to show you what happens when you download the area of interest, like the area of interest, when you don't download the grids. We'll just, okay. I'm not sure why I cannot contribute, but anyway, I think because I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to move.
Yeah, it's there, but because you're sharing, we are not seeing. But it's at the bottom there.
Okay. Let me just, which number is this? No, this is still Guatemala. I didn't want Guatemala. I wanted this. Okay. So I'm just going to move this here. And I because I have a filter on, that's why it disappeared. So you see, when you download the area of interest, it's going to download for you this. Yeah. So with this, you'll not be able to, let me first turn off the imagery. See, you're just downloading the boundary, the area of interest. You're not downloading the grids. So with this, downloading along might be very tricky. So when you want to download along, it's only going to download like around the boundary. Let's say 9 individuals. Let's see what's going to happen. It's just going to download along the boundary like this. It won't download for you the data inside. So that's why if you want to automate your download, it's better you download the grids. Then I think some of you know continuous download. Some of you may be aware of the continuous download. So you see, I think because I put a big area, that's why in other words, it will just going to download for you along here. Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't download as a new layer. Okay, I did. Okay. So there's that. Also, there's what they say. The other old way is just downloading here as a new layer. This is all the same. You're all downloading data. These are just different ways. But the first option that I illustrated is better. So here you have to download and you go following this boundary, and then you download the data inside to check the entire data. Let's see how people worked on this. Looks fine. See, looks good. But you see, even after doing the other validation, we have some issues here, overlapping things. Okay, so I'm going to delete here and then I illustrate for you, I think the very last one. Okay, there is download download continuously. So to download continuously, you have the only issue with download continuously if you do not uncheck it. Once you run your like 2 tasks, it's going to continue downloading until. So to get download continuously, you just come to your plugins and then you just say continuous. Yeah, download continuously. So when I check it, I'll say okay, it's downloading for me the plugin, and then just now when I try to download here as a new layer, it's going to continue downloading continuously. Okay. So you see, it's now continuously downloading. As you can see, it's going to download. It's going to continuously download. So that's what download continuously does. The only challenge with it is that it downloads a big chunk of. Then when you like move it, when you move your cursor, it's going to download. Okay, so you see, when I try to move again, it downloads. It just makes you very anxious. I don't like this tool for that. You cannot move like and adjust on your boundary properly. Like it keeps downloading. It keeps downloading. So I'm going to cancel it and then I will show you what happens. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I'm going to show you what happens if you forget to if you forget to turn it off. Let me look for a project that is being worked on. Let's say, let's get this one. And then just imagine now you're done doing third pass and now you want to do your normal work. And then you have forgotten your download continuously on. So this is what will happen. Come on. Do you have any questions as this thing goes?
Is there any way to pause download continuously except checking it off from logging?
I think I didn't hear you well.
I'm saying, is there any way to pause like continuous download except disabling the plugin?
Not any that I know of, unless someone knows, but there's no way you can pause it. That's why I feel like it's makes me anxious. Before I organize it on my boundary, it's it's like it keeps downloading. Now imagine I've forgotten. You see, I want to zoom in and out, it's going to continue downloading continuous. See, imagine I'm zooming in, it continues. So it makes you anxious. So if you like to use download continuously, you have to make sure after using it and you want to do something else, you go back and uncheck it. That is why download along is better, or downloading in bits is much better. So that is it. I think this session is short because we already know how to validate. We already know how to add our filters. Usually when I'm running this session, I start with showing people how to add the map pencils, the filters, how to activate the filters, how to add them as well, how to use those tools. That's why it takes some time, and how to download and how to fix. So for us, we're already experts. I think that's why we've taken a shorter time. So again, if it's your first time to do third-pass validation, it might be very overwhelming. So if you'd like to just try and do, please let me know. If you're happy to do third pass, please let me know so that I can assign you a project and monitor, and maybe just mark it that someone is doing third pass. And no need, no worry, no rush to complete doing third pass on something, and to you it may be complete, but to another person. So once you're satisfied as a person that you have fixed everything, you've fixed all the errors that you can fix as an individual, you have made sure everything is aligning well, or everything is in its position, that's the third pass is complete. Yeah, just the way when you're validating a task and you feel satisfied, you feel you've fixed roads, you've fixed the buildings, everything is aligned, you've fixed everything as much as you can, that is complete. That's just the same way it works. Yeah. Do you have any questions? So is there anyone happy for me to assign them a project, or you reach out? I already know some people.
I'm okay with it.
Awesome. So I think that is it, unless you have any questions. Who is that? I didn't hear you well.
I say me too, Kingsley.
Okay, yes, Kingsley. All right. So I'm going to just you can spend like maybe an hour or two on a project. You can let me know how much time you'd like to spend as well, if you're happy to. I will assign you. If you have any challenges, please just reach out as usual. So yeah, anyone else happy to do third pass, let me know. All right, I think that's it. Unless I'm going to repeat the same session in the evening. If I was fast and you'd like me to show you anything, please reach out on Slack and I will redo everything in the next session. Awesome. See you on Slack. Send me a message if you want to. I have so far 2 people, and I'm going to mark it on our doc. See you on Slack. Bye, everyone.
Bye.